Night 3, the contestants consisted of Margaret Shelton, Tyler Rode, Brian Chang. Ken Jennings shoots the game just saying Andrew Heat came from behind and asked if Margaret, Tyler, and Brian will emerge as champion. Ken Jennings' instruction was, "Welcome back everyone to the Tournament of Champions." It was another come from behind victory in yesterday's quarterfinal game as Andrew Heat emerged as semifinalist. Today we welcome back Brian, Tyler, and Margaret to the Alex Trebek stage. Which of them will be the next to advance in this credible field of champions? One of the categories was 5-5, which was one of the categories on Tyler Rhodes' third game, and it appeared on Amy Schneider's 19th game. Brian got the first daily double after getting out of the hole and is now at 0. He risked 1,000, unfortunately answered wrong, and went back into the hole at negative 1,000. Margaret's anecdote was fans thought her accent was fake or exaggerated, as Ken was reminded of when she answered, "What is left behind?" I have to be honest, out of the 4 champions who went through the 4-day curse, my video on Margaret Shelton was the longest. I watched all 5 of her games likewise. I didn't even notice her accent. This anecdote also reminded fans of when she answered, "What is regular Virginia?" which I somehow never picked up on. Tyler plans to spend his winnings on his wedding at the Museum of the American Revolution. Remember when Margaret compared Jeopardy to getting married?
It's a little bit like getting married. Like, you want to do it, but you're scared, you know?
Well, now Tyler has 2 things he wants to do. Ken told Brian he did something exciting with his Jeopardy money. I did. Some friends and I started a wind ensemble in Chicago called the Chicago Symphonic Winds. The shtick is we rehearse for about 6 hours before the concert, and then we go straight to the concert. Kind of like the second chance tournament qualifiers winning, and then going straight into the Tournament of Champions. Ken asked, "Does this make me a patron of the arts since I was your host?" Brian answered, "You are. You'll have a front row seat if you come to one of our concerts, Ken." Brian entered the first round, winning negative $1,000. Tyler and Margaret were tied at $5,400. This will be important for later.
He got both daily doubles.
Brian got the first daily double in Double Jeopardy immediately at the start of the round and immediately answered as Ken told him. Didn't even pause. He waited $2,000, got it right, and went to $1,000. An ectopic pregnancy, from the Greek for displaced, is called a tubal pregnancy when it occurs here. Margaret Button answered, outside the fallopian tubes, not adding what is. Brian Button answered, what is outside the fallopian tubes, which is incorrect anyway. Then Tyler Button answered, what is inside the fallopian tubes? The audience laughed when Ken told them that that was correct. Several nurses figure in this novel of Farwell's Harms, including Miss Van Kampen. The answer was Hemingway, which is the answer to the Final Jeopardy round just 2 weeks ago, and the answer to the Final Jeopardy round in Dave Rapp's third game earlier this year. After Margaret answered, who is Hemingway, Ken told her, yes, do you know your nurses, to tell her she ran the nurses category. Tyler got the second daily double in Double Jeopardy. If you listen closely, you can hear Margaret say nice when he got it.
Second daily double. Nice.
He wagered $4,000, got it right after a bit of silence, and went to $16,600. Again, tying Margaret for the lead. Dustin Diamond, who died in 2021 after a brief battle with cancer, is best remembered for playing Screech in this teen sitcom. The answer was obviously, what is Saved by the Bell? When Brian appeared on Jeopardy, Dustin was still alive. And Alex Trebek's final taping aired the day after Dustin celebrated his last birthday ever. Rest in peace, Dustin Diamond. By the way, I think now would be a good time to mention, I once saw a photo of Matt Emodio in a baseball field and thought he looked similar to Dustin Diamond. Ken was also old enough to appear on Saved by the Bell. Margaret ended Double Jeopardy winning $17,400, tying Tyler for the lead for the second round in a row. I think the last time this happened was on Ryan Long's 8th game. Brian was in third place at $4,200. The Final Jeopardy category was phrases in American history. The question was, Andrew Johnson vetoed a bill that gave reparations to formerly enslaved people, hence this phrase for an unfulfilled promise. The answer was, what is 40 acres and a mule? Yes, that was a promise made by Freedmen's Bureau to formerly enslaved people that was never actually kept. Those reparations ever came to be. Tyler and Margaret answered correctly. I hit the scores for the second game in a row because Tyler bet it all and went to $34,800. Margaret only wagered $7,000. Fans weren't necessarily critical. They just asked why she didn't bet at all when the tiebreaker would have given her a chance to win. Other fans justified Margaret's wager because had both bet it all and answered wrong. Brian would have emerged as the winner, and they thought Margaret doesn't like tiebreaker games anyway. Had Margaret bet it all, there would have been a second tie in one of Brian's games. Except here, he wouldn't have been involved in the tie. This wager's why I said it was important that Tyler and Margaret were tied at the end of the first round, because when fans questioned her wager, I immediately remember fans being critical of her wager when she lost earlier this year. The game Margaret lost to Maureen O'Neill, everyone questioned why she bet at all. When she returned for the Tournament of Champions, everyone questioned why she didn't bet at all. Let's listen to that overheard on set again.
As on Jeopardy, it's go big or go home. Ken asks, after you locked in your wager, you said you had some feelings of regrets. What were the regrets? Margaret answers, that I wagered everything. Ken adds, because there's a downside. Margaret agrees. Ken asks why she wagered everything. Maureen answers, I feel like every time you're on here, you have to shoot your shot. Go big or go home, basically, which is the title of the overheard on set. I guess Margaret thought more about the downside of betting at all. I really can't blame her, especially when she played so well throughout the entire game. Even if fans are critical of her wagers, that doesn't change the fact that she was formidable. One last comment. Take a look at her game here. So much has changed between her first game when she was scared to now. Congratulations to Tyler for winning. Congratulations to Margaret for playing a great game. And congratulations to Brian for being the top seed out of the 3 in this game. So far, the top contenders in the game had already lost.
And as always, thank you for watching.